Besties, sit down, get your coffee, because today we are not doing a rumor. We are not doing a sources say netting. Today we are doing receipts. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. 30 years of the most confusing relationship in Hollywood history, and it has now officially landed in an actual courtroom. There is a $3 million lawsuit. There are alleged threats. And this month, the man suing Jada demanded to put Will under oath in the case against his own wife. His own separated, still married wife. Besties, I have organized every single receipt in chronological order because somebody had to. Let's begin. Receipt number 1, the 1990s. Jada auditions for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to play Will's girlfriend and gets rejected. Why? She was too short, 5 feet tall. Not tall enough to be his fake girlfriend on TV, so instead she became his real wife. Make that make sense. They marry on New Year's Eve 1997. Sounds romantic, right? Wrong. Jada herself later admitted she never wanted to get married and that she cried walking down the aisle. Not happy tears, besties. And look, every marriage has a rocky start, but most marriages don't start with the bride openly saying, "I didn't want this." That's not a red flag. That's the whole flag store. Receipt number 2, 2013. Jada goes on television and says about her own husband, quote, "Will can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants." The internet, understandably, loses its mind. Open marriage, scandal. And then Jada comes back with the clarification of the decade. No, we don't have an open relationship. We have a grown one, a grown relationship. Besties, I have been studying the English language my entire life, and I still do not know what a grown relationship is, but write that word down, because vague relationship labels is about to become this couple's entire brand. Receipt number 3, June 2020. A singer named August Alsina sits down for an interview and casually announces he had a years-long relationship with Jada, with Will's blessing. According to August, Will basically gave him a handshake and said, "Go ahead." Jada's team immediately says, "Absolutely not true." Total denial. Nothing happened. Remember that denial, besties. Put it in your pocket. You will need it in exactly one receipt. Receipt number 4, July 10th, 2020. 10 days later. 10 days. Jada sits her own husband down at her own talk show table and confesses. Yes, there was a relationship with August, but she doesn't call it an affair. She doesn't call it a romance. She invents an entirely new word for it. Live on camera. An entanglement. Besties, 15 million people watched that episode in 24 hours. It broke records. It broke the internet. Entanglement became the word of the year. And somewhere in that clip is the most painful detail of all. It happened during a separation that nobody knew existed. Foreshadowing, besties, foreshadowing. Receipt number 5, March 27th, 2022. The Oscars. Chris Rock makes a joke about Jada's shaved head. Jada rolls her eyes. And Will Smith, Mr. Fresh Prince, Mr. Nicest Man in Hollywood, walks up on that stage in front of the entire planet and slaps him, then yells twice to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. 40 minutes later, he wins Best Actor. He resigns from the Academy. He gets banned from the Oscars for 10 years. All of that to defend his wife's honor. Beautiful. Devastating. Iconic. There's just one tiny detail we didn't know yet. Besties, hold that thought. Receipt number 6, October 2023. Jada has a book coming out, and she drops the bomb of the century on the press tour. She and Will had been separated since 2016, living completely separate lives for 7 years, which means, do the math with me, besties, the entanglement happened while secretly separated. The slap, the keep my wife's name out of your mouth moment, He was defending a woman he had privately not been with for 6 years. He sacrificed his career, his reputation, and a decade of Oscar invitations for his roommate. And then Jada adds, and I quote the energy of it, "We'll never divorce, though, never separated on paper. Just spiritually, legally married, romantically retired, a grown relationship, remember?" Receipt number 7. November 2023. Enter the villain of our story. Or the hero, depending on which lawyer you ask. A man called Brother Bilaal, real name Bilaal Salam, Will's self-declared best friend of 40 years. He goes on a podcast and makes a claim about Will so spicy I legally cannot even paraphrase it comfortably, involving another actor. Will's team calls it completely fabricated and unequivocally false. Jada calls it ridiculous nonsense and promises legal action. And Bilaal, this absolute menace, responds, "Sue me in 2 weeks or I'm dropping evidence." Besties, that is not how legal threats work, but points for confidence. Receipt number 8, late 2025. And here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. After all those threats to sue Bilaal, Bilaal sues Jada $3 million. His claim? That back in 2021, at Will's birthday party, Jada and her entourage cornered him, demanded he sign an NDA, and told him that if he kept talking about her personal business, he might, quote, end up missing. Or worse. Now then, those are his allegations in his lawsuit, and Jada says every word of it is false and made up for attention. But Besties, the woman who invented the word entanglement, is now in court over an alleged NDA ambush at a birthday party. You could not write this. Well, apparently, Bilal's lawyers could. Receipt number 9, 2026. The year it all unravels in real time. February. Bilaal asked the court for a restraining order against Jada. Denied. Both of them had to testify in an actual courtroom for that one. Spring. The judge throws out big chunks of his case and orders Bilaal to pay Jada almost $33,000 in legal fees. Jada's winning, right? Right? Well, this July, Bilaal, who is now representing himself because of course he is, made his boldest move yet. He formally demanded to put Will Smith under oath as a witness in the lawsuit against Will's own wife. Jada's lawyer fired back with the coldest sentence of the year. Mr. Smith is not a party to this litigation. Translation: leave my client's husband, roommate, spiritual co-parent out of this. No subpoena has been served yet, besties. But if that man ever takes that witness stand, it will be the single greatest day in the history of celebrity court reporting. So let's total up the receipts, besties. She didn't want the wedding. The marriage was grown. The affair was an entanglement. The slap was for a wife he wasn't with. The separation was secret for 7 years. And the best friend of 40 years is now suing the wife while trying to subpoena the husband. 30 years. And not one single chapter of this story has ever been normal. Tell me in the comments. Whose side are you on? Team Jada, Team Will, or Team Bilal's completely unhinged confidence? If you want the rest of this week's chaos, and trust me, there is so much more, the full weekly roundup is right here on the channel. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, stay messy, besties, dark but not in a surprise deposition. Messy. Mwah.